Welcome to the Destiny of Manufacturing podcast. I am Dean Phillips. I am your host, and we are here live from the FABTECH show floor. I have the distinct pleasure of having Lisa Ryan, who is, of course, the Chief Appreciation Officer that's for a strategist, right?
Yeah,
Chief Appreciation Strategist for Grategy, which means strategy with a G, but it's showing the gratitude to your people too.
Yeah.
And Lisa's been on the show probably not since last year, and it's great to have you back. Thank you. Tell me a little bit about what's going on with you. What's new?
Well, the exciting thing is, and it's been almost a year that I did my first business fable. Like, I have 11 other books, and they've all been, your traditional nonfiction business book. And I just kind of had this calling that, you know what, I need to do a fable, because I've always liked that with Who Moved My Cheese and all of those kind of books, because it brings the reader in, you share a story, and then you get lots of lessons from it. And so finally it showed up, and I now have the 6 gears of Grategy.
Really?
Yeah.
So without ruining it for anybody, is there anything that you'd like to talk about it here? Or maybe even an example of a lesson learned?
Well, it really focuses on James Peterson, and he is the new president of Steel Tech Manufacturing. So he comes in, and he had been a turnaround expert in his career, but he really needed to settle down because all that time on the road was taking a toll on his life and his health and his marriage and all of that. So he went to Steel Tech, and of course it was completely toxic. Everybody was leaving, and he wanted to figure out a way to bring it back to its former glory days. And so after a particularly frustrating day, as he's walking through the plant, he meets Frank, the wizened maintenance man, who then brought him through the 6 gears of Grategy. And then over the course of the book, it shows how they started with changing the attitude, went to a personal practice of appreciation, gave the people more access to tools and leadership. Applause is the tangible recognition for a job well done. Probably the one that I talk about the most in my programs now is acts of service, which is, how are you making a difference? When we look at the younger generations coming in, and they want to know that what they do matters. And so how do we have the conversations that we're having here at FABTECH, sharing our war stories, because those are fun, and our successes and how we're making a difference. But that's what we need to do to bring people to the industry. And then the final is that accountability. How do we make sure that this is a process and not just an event?
Okay, that's excellent. And one of the things that I do have to ask this question, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't. Were they PMA members?
Of course they were. Absolutely.
And that's important, because, one thing that people don't always realize about associations is it is about the association part.
Right.
It is the strategy of exchanging of information, having the opportunity to learn from others. That's a great part of what associations bring to the table. It's also what your knowledge is able to transfer too, because people want to talk to you because you have a value because of what you bring, your experiences, your knowledge. And that is something that is highly desirable today. And I like when you mentioned about, younger people, they want to know the why of why this is important, why what we do is impactful, and how they can get involved in that.
Yeah.
How do you get that message out to people nowadays?
Well, I think in one of the easiest ways we can do that, we're at FABTECH right now. So what better way to ingratiate your employees into the market than to bring them to FABTECH? They're seeing the competitors. They're seeing what's going on in the market. They're seeing, I have to say, PMA has done a beautiful job marketing, because like every booth here has a PMA member.
Yes. Absolutely.
And they're walking through that, and when they see that, not only are they proud of the company, but they're like, what is PMA, and how do I become a part of that so that it can expand it even more?
Yes.
Because you're building your network, but you're learning from the industry. And again, just to come here, because especially at McCormick Place, it's so magical.
Yes.
But to see everything that's here And if you, as an organization, invest in your employees to bring them here and let them experience it, the chance of them leaving you goes down dramatically because they probably never had an employer that did that before.
100%. And I think that it gets them more connected. And I have always said this about coming to the show, as you learn a lot of new ideas, new things that, oh, I never thought about that before. There's new technologies, there's new innovations that are going on constantly. And when you live in your bubble of your plant, that's all you ever see. If all you ever had was a hammer and you never got out to see a stamping press, imagine how that would change your life of, well, I got to make another one of these parts. So I'm out there in the back with an anvil and a hammer trying to make this. And it's like, if you had a press, this would probably go a lot faster and a lot smoother and a lot more repetitive. But I think a lot of times we don't think about those things of getting other people involved because their knowledge adds value to your company.
Right.
I think that's an area that people don't always understand.
Well, and I think, too, we're looking at two different opposite sides of the generations. We have the baby boomers retiring at, 8,500 a day, but there's this legacy that they take with them when they walk out the door. I mean, you think about some of these guys, it's like they can hear a machine and know what's wrong with it. And how do we transfer that knowledge to people? Well, number one, we invite them to get involved. We invite them to industry events and to build those relationships. But we also do reverse mentoring because you know what? These people know a lot. They're digital natives. They know technology. They understand it at a level that a lot of us don't process as much. And when they feel that they're being heard and we can transfer that knowledge from people who know the industry, from people who know technology, it's just a beautiful thing.
Absolutely. And I think that, can you tell us a little bit about the books, how you came about the idea and why you felt passionate about giving that information out to people?
Well, I write books the way that I like to read them. So, pretty much quick, get you to like the last one that I did, thank you very much. That is very chapter oriented. If I want to learn about why you should train employees, there's a chapter called No Employee Ever Quit Because of Too Much Training. So let's go and read that. But with this one, when you have 6 gears, to put it in a book, it's like, how do we put it in a flow that shows that this is actionable and to show the process and not the happy, happy, joy, joy ending? Because when you have an organization, especially with employees who've been with you for a long time, they don't always trust you because you've put them through this before. Oh no, they went to a conference. He's coming back with 22 things to get done. Where with this, it shows the people kind of fighting back like, oh, here we go again. And no, this is really what we're doing as an organization so that we can change the culture, because culture didn't happen overnight and it's certainly not changing overnight. And that's what we expect. We expect to come in, press the easy button. Oh, we found this cool thing. We found this cool technology. And it's like, no, give people time. And most of all, when you are investing in some kind of new technology here, listen to your people first before you sign that purchase order.
Right. Yes.
Get their feedback on it because it's those people that are going to be using it. And if you don't get buy-in from them, it ain't happening.
Right. Yeah. They're going to find every reason not to do it because there's too many things that are qualifiers of, well, this won't work because you never got them to. Even if you do something like a straw man where you're going to pull it, tear it apart, you have to have an element there where the people are given an opportunity to talk about what's good and what's bad about the idea so that they can have their buy-in. Because they have to go tell it and expand that to their people.
Right.
So as I give this information, not here, just go do this because I said so, you have to have them say, this is the right path that we're going down, and they need to understand why it's the right path, but they have to then go and convey that message, because the worst thing I've ever seen in companies when I go into a manufacturer is you say one thing, you say, okay, we've got this safety policy now, and then you go out there and then there are team leads and foremen who are saying, yeah, I know they said that, but just keep doing it the way we've been.
Right.
And that's a toxic environment because you never had the buy-in from the people who understood it, which means you didn't convey that information to them of what they need to do and what's the value of it back to the company, back to the people, because you want everybody to understand why safety is important. So I'll give you the last, we're up against the end of the time here, but tell me where people can reach you.
I am pretty prolific on LinkedIn. I like to say I'm the #1 Lisa Ryan on LinkedIn with like 1,700 Lisa Ryans. That's a pretty big effort. But if you search on Lisa Ryan and Grategy, you'll definitely find me. But every Wednesday, my Cracking the Retention Code newsletter comes out. I post a lot on there. I also have the Manufacturers Network podcast, so I will post episodes on that. So that and my website, Lisa Ryan Speaks, those are the 2 best ways to find me.
Incredible. Lisa, thank you so much for being here again on the Destiny of Manufacturing podcast, here live at FABTECH 20. Are we going to say the year? Let's say the year. This is 2025 as opposed to the 2024 version. So if you go back and see, make sure you find this year's, not last year's, although we'd like them to go back and watch
It's a
it.
different outfit, so,
That's right. They should at least know that. So it's been great to have you, Lisa. Thank you for your time.
You're
Everybody, come on down to the show if you're not here right now.